Madam President, thank you for giving me the floor. I thank Assistant Secretary General for Africa, Madam Martha Pobe, for her briefing, and members of the Security Council for their statements. Madam President, we express our gratitude towards the regional endeavors that have led to the cessation of hostilities in Eastern DRC, particularly acknowledging the support of the member states in the Great Lakes region who have contributed to the implementation of the regional mechanism, as well as the daily efforts of the East African Community Regional Force in the field. With the positive progress observed, we urge the international community to provide support and enhance the regional initiatives to ensure the complete implementation of these mechanisms. However, we are deeply disappointed by the lack of official statement from the Council or the UN mission in DRC condemning the ongoing acts of genocide targeting Congolese Tutsi and Rwanda funds on a daily basis. We thank member states that have condemned hate speech. Madam President, we have heard, and it has been reported, the government of the Democratic Republic of Congo has extended financial support, weapons, and political cover for a number of illegal armed groups, including the UN-sanctioned genocide group, FDLR. It is therefore unsurprising that there has been a dramatic surge of violence against civilians. It is surprising that the permanent representative of DRC is able to state here categorically in front of the member states of the Security Council that in the last 10 years, FDLR has never attacked Rwanda, when you all witnessed that last year it attacked together with the DRC force three times last year in 2022. In the province of Ituri alone, in less than 3 months, 643 civilians were killed by armed groups such as Codeco and ADF. This is a level of violence not seen since 2017. What is particularly concerning is that these grave human rights violations occurred not too far away from the MONUSCO base and FRDC positions. We are also concerned about the apparent silence of MONUSCO and the DRC government on the genocidal nature of these atrocities. Madam President, last week on June 18th, the United Nations commemorated the International Day for Countering Hate Speech. And during her impactful speech, UN Special Advisor on the Prevention of Genocide, Under Secretary General Nderitu, reminded us that the genocide does not start with bullets or machetes. It starts with hate speech. The ways in which authorities in DRC have given license to poisonous anti-Rwandaphone and anti-Tutsi hate speech, public incitement, mob killings, and targeted violence have been detailed in a number of reports of the United Nations and other regional and international organizations. Anti-Rwandaphone slogans and hate speech are openly propagated in schools and saturate Congolese social media platforms on a daily basis. What is even more concerning is that high-level Congolese officials propagate anti-Rwanda sentiment as an expression of patriotism or civic duty to secure political points. We call upon the Human Rights Commission to investigate these crimes and take appropriate action. Additionally, efforts should be made to strengthen legal frameworks that address hate speech and ensure accountability for those who engage in such a behavior. Madam President, this report highlights the key active armed groups perpetrating atrocities in DRC, but inexplicably omits FDLR, despite the fact that it is the main orchestrator of the instability in Eastern DRC. The FDLR militia stands out from the 120-plus armed groups operating in the Eastern DRC on 3 counts: its military expertise, an extensive economic network, and the unwavering support it enjoys fighting alongside the Congolese Army, FRDC. The proliferation of hate speech and anti-Tutsi genocide ideology widely observed in DRC today reveals the extent of FDLR's reach. Given the imposition of several sanctions and regional agreements, it was expected that FDLR would have been disarmed and repatriated to Rwanda to face justice for their role in the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. Instead, both the FRDC and FDLR have consistently violated Rwanda's territorial integrity, including several cross-border rocket-sharing incidences, incursions into Rwanda by soldiers of the Congolese armed forces, and several airspace violations by the Congolese fighter jets. DRC's choice to integrate FDLR within government forces instead of expatriating them sends a strong and clear message to Rwanda, the region, and international community that the DRC is not interested in peace. Despite having full awareness of the DRC government's collaboration with FDLR, both MONUSCO and the UN Security Council have failed to take any substantive action. Instead, Rwanda has been made the scapegoat for the insecurity in the eastern DRC. This, unfortunately, reflects unwillingness on the part of the international community to face up to the root causes of the conflict in eastern DRC and to demand true accountability from the Congolese government, which is responsible for this legacy of failure. Madam President, Rwanda remains committed to working within regional mechanisms, particularly the Nairobi and Rwanda processes. It is common knowledge that the government of DRC has stalled the implementation of these efforts, including frustrating the East African Regional Force's ability to execute its mandate. However, nonetheless, the implementation of the Nairobi and Rwanda peace processes has been progressing. The East African Regional Force have fully deployed, the ceasefire has been secured, and M23 has withdrawn from its previous occupied positions as agreed. Ideally, these achievements should be followed by the DRC government's political process to bring the region closer to its peace objectives. However, and not surprisingly, there is no single action to date that has been taken by the DRC in line with the regional peace agreements. Madam President, to conclude, the security challenges in our region are complex, but they are also solvable. Amplifying the false allegations of the DRC government while never holding it accountable for allying itself with armed groups, which, along with FRDC, commit serious human rights abuses against civilians, cannot lead to solutions. Treating the DRC government as a perpetual victim, despite evidence to the contrary, is symbolic of how the dysfunction in the DRC has been encouraged and sustained for decades. As long as Kinshasa backs the genocidal FDLR and other anti-Rwanda elements, Rwanda's defensive and preventive mechanism will remain in place to guard against violations of our borders and airspace, and counter any spillover into Rwanda to ensure total security for our territory. Rwanda will never allow the FDLR and their backers, directly or indirectly, to cause any harm to Rwanda or our people. We call on the international community to support ongoing Rwanda and Nairobi peace processes, which constitute our region's best chance for peace and stability. I thank you.